Today we're going to make a concrete doghouse. I'm going to set my miter saw to 45 degrees and chop up some 2x4s. I want the edges to be perfectly flat, so I'm going to trim off about ½ an inch using the table saw. I will then square up some of the ends to make a nice house-shaped frame. I'm going to use metal brackets to put the frame together. I'm going to do this on the rounded side of the 2x4s because I want the flat side that I trimmed with the table saw to face up. I'm going to use a scrap piece of pine to act as a brace so that the frame doesn't wiggle, and then screw in vertical supports at right angles to the frame. I'm using steel brackets to support all these joints. Now I'm going to coat the inside of the frame with a coat of high gloss house paint. I'm going to use 1/8 inch thick Masonite to make the rest of the mold. And I'm just going to nail it onto the frame using a nail gun. The weight of the concrete is going to push out on the Masonite, so I have to make sure that I add lots of supports and reinforce all my joints with a hot glue gun and duct tape. I used the hot glue gun on the joints that were hard to reach with the duct tape. The form is pretty shabby looking and, well, literally held together with glue and duct tape, but I think it should be strong enough to hold the concrete, providing that I pour it in layers. I'm going to use Quikrete Countertop mix. It doesn't have any large pieces of aggregate in it, so it should work well in this sort of thin formwork. I'm going to use a stick to push and settle the concrete down into the bottom of the mold. And occasionally I need to stop and add some support braces as the concrete starts pushing on the inside walls. Because this mold is so flimsy, I'm going to pour the concrete in layers and I need to let it cure in between the layers. Once the last layer is poured, I'm going to let the whole thing sit 20 hours before removing the mold. A little bit of paint got stuck into the concrete, so I just sanded it right off. I made a wooden base for it out of some scrap 2x3s and 2x2s that I sanded. I connected these pieces to form a little deck using some 1/4 inch trim and screws. This little doggy deck looks great, but the occupant found it a little bit too rickety. So we switched it out with a nice sheepskin and everyone was all smiles. For more detailed instructions, check out my website, and if you want to see what I'm working on next, be sure to follow me on Instagram. To learn about the concrete products that I use, check out quikrete.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.